Yeah.
Hi, my name is Dale Sandberg. I'm a product manager for QSC, and we're going to talk about the new QSys system. QSys is a centralized architecture DSP and integrated platform. That means all the elements of the system are brought into a single software interface. Everything from the output of the microphones all the way to the output of the loudspeakers. And we'll talk about each of those elements in turn. There's a core. All the processing and control and routing and monitoring goes through the core. That then interfaces via a network to our I/O frames. The I/O frames is all the local inputs and outputs. Those can then be received in a mic line card or a data port card sent out to an amplifier, or even an analog line level output card that will send to analog line level outputs out to the various systems. If you're using QSC data port amplifiers, you connect to them via the data port card, and now you have complete monitoring not only of the amplifier but all the way out to the loudspeaker, as you can measure impedance and so forth. If you're using QSC loudspeakers, it will actually automatically enable the correct processing on those loudspeakers. For example, our intrinsic correction processing for our wide line arrays. Moving over to the software interface, in the software we have the ability to control and monitor all aspects of this system. I'll close some of these windows here. Because it's a centralized core, we have the ability to load and store and play back audio files directly from inside the core. So here we see we've got a 2-channel audio file player here, and that's just playing a number of different, it can play from a number of different files that are there inside the core. So we just drag that in, it starts playing instantaneously. Here's the 15-track audio file player. Obviously I can put metering, and there's just a wealth of different DSP objects available inside the software. Other useful tools, sometimes when you're designing systems that have some level of complexity, it can become difficult to trace your audio system design. So we've placed some tools in there, like our hover meter, the ability to hover over any input or output in the DSP and actually see a real-time analysis of the signal being played there. If I had a crossover in this design, it would, oh, I do in fact. So you can see that's a high frequency output out of that crossover, mid-frequency, low frequency, I guess, output, and so forth. I also have some other tools, like I have a probe element, and where'd the probe go? Apparently the probe is already placed somewhere, maybe on one of the other pages. Anyway, that probe allows me to, so where is it? Should have set up earlier. Maybe if I just, there we go. So now if I grab that probe, I can click on the probe, grab it, move it around, and now again I can click on anywhere in the design. That probe is feeding 2 elements. One is a real-time analyzer. And again, this is all just inside the DSP, and this can be 3rd octave, it can be 12th octave, 24th octave, and so forth. There's also an FFT-based responsializer, is what we're calling, measurement tool. So I've got my measurement signal and a reference signal, and now if I look at that, I can look at the impulse response, obviously, magnitude, and I'm just in between these two. I've just got a parametric equalizer. So obviously that's the response of that parametric equalizer, magnitude and phase, impulse response as I showed you before, and real-time analysis of the signal coming in on the measurement input. Other tools that are available within the software, obviously we have all your standard DSP elements. We also have some other unique elements, like this is what we call a 2-dimensional panner. It's a mixer that has the ability to visually and virtually locate both your inputs and outputs. The circles are your outputs, the squares are your inputs, and as you move these elements around, it's actually panning those between the various outputs. So as I move them around in the design, it creates the panning matrix, as it were. If I combine this with my snapshots, for example, I can then create a simplified show controller that quite easily allows me to pan sources across, between the various loudspeakers, get the helicopter flying overhead effect and so forth. It's a very powerful tool. And there's quite a bit more in QSYS. Maybe the last thing I should show you is the user control interfaces. Because QSYS is a networked tool, we have the ability to view things and control them via the network. And now that includes third-party control, but it also includes creating user custom control panels. So I can, we've made some panels previously, and this panel is actually up and running. Now this panel is being hosted by the core, the centralized processor, and in fact it's being broadcast across the network. So all I need is any network device, a computer, or any other sort of network device, it could even be an iPhone, that can view, that can browse web pages and has the ability to run Adobe Flash. So I can use an iPhone or any other interface to view and control this system. And I'm making controls, so this is, I'm on that page, I have the ability to do any sort of controls, and these are just dragged into the user control panels from the design interface. QSYS is extremely powerful. There's a wealth of processing power, and if you want more information, please come and visit our website. That's qscaudio.com. Thank you.